Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Night Hi-Fi. Gonna have Emiko on tonight. Emiko, if you know her as either Emiko Music or that Hi-Fi girl, she is the director of marketing for the home entertainment show, um, writer and contributor for Acoustics, Enjoy the Music, a bunch of other things. So we're gonna have her on in just a second. She should be joining. And there she is.
Hello.
Hi, Emiko. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm very well. How are you? I'm just gonna fix my volume. There we go.
Doing excellent. Got the shirt on. I
I was
don't know
just
if
gonna
I
say
could see it
we're
earlier, but now,
matching.
okay, there you go. Yeah. Now I got the matching shirts.
It
It
is true
came,
what they say. All Asians do look alike when we
oh my
compare their shirts.
that, all right. That's the introduction, I guess. That's fine.
It's Wednesday. I've been up since 5:30 in the morning,
Oh
so
man.
sorry.
I feel like this week, you've almost been like that person that has like the hit movie out, and it's like you do Jimmy Kimmel on Monday and Jimmy Fallon on Tuesday, and then you're on Colbert on Wednesday. But for you, it's you're on your own show, and then you're on Giles's show, and then you're on my show.
And then I have
So
a phone call with a very large audio industry publication right after this, who I won't say who they are, but they rhyme with style. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
all right, that sounds
So
that sounds that sounds good. So as always, lots of things going on for you, but got the shirt in, got that in on time for this, which was awesome. I will say, however, I don't know if you did you see my special instruction on the order?
no.
Oh, I thought it was going to be you who would get the order like directly, and so I wrote on there I was like, draw a turtle. That was my special request,
Oh,
like
I
on like
think
the
somebody
on like
somebody
the
did
invoice or
forward that
something.
to me, but they're not. So I don't like they're not fulfilled locally. They ship
Hmm.
out of a warehouse. So
Yeah, that's what
I
I
don't.
realized after I got it. I was like North
Yeah,
Carolina. I was like, oh man, I'm like, there's not going to be a turtle on
yeah.
this.
I'm sorry.
I was
I
like,
could
oh darn.
send you a drawing of a
No,
turtle. I'm really
that's all
bad at
right.
art, though, so you don't want
That's fine.
that.
That's the unfortunate. You get a cool shirt, but unfortunately, you'll not get a special drawing if you request it. That's kind of the
Yeah,
caveat.
right, right. But
Oh,
you will get asked to be in my 2022 Hot and Hi-Fi calendar, which you
oh,
named.
oh Lord, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's coming. I'm trying to actually get my doppelganger to do the photo. Um,
No, no, absolutely
that
not.
if you know what's funny is that I think if he did do it, I don't
Uh-huh.
think people would really question it. But at the same time, they would be like, "Wow, I didn't know he was so buff." Like, like my friend's an aspiring bodybuilder, so he's like huge. And but for some reason, a lot of people think that we look so very similar,
Mm-hmm.
especially like in the face, not so much
Mm-hmm.
in the body, but in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And people will see his face and like think of me or vice versa, and it's just like so weird. So like he's Polish though, he's not Asian in any capacity. So
Huh.
yeah, although my
Interesting.
my Mongolian friend told me because she lived in Russia for a while that there's like a tribe
Yes.
or like a city in Russia where everyone looks Asian for some reason, and she theorized that like he came from that, like the bloodline somehow trickles up there or whatever. But I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's a little, I don't know. That's for 23andMe to figure out. Um,
Right.
but oh, so the what I told you when I got the shirt too is when I ordered it,
Uh-huh.
I had to tell you the story behind a little story that happened afterwards that I wanted to see your
Oh, right. And
reaction
you were going to
live
tell me.
on the stream. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I ordered the shirt, and that night after I ordered the shirt, I had a dream, and this is gonna sound so weird. But I had a dream that you were like there and had got the order,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like I saw like the little like your logo, that Hi-Fi Girl logo with Victoria and the purple and everything like that,
Uh-huh.
and you were like part of like this Illuminati organization, and you're like, we got them, and you're like texting like these hedge fund managers that they're like I'm not so keen on, and I was like, no, in my dream, like, no, I fell for the trap. High five.
It's like, you can never leave.
Yeah, I know. It's like they finally got me. No.
Well, that's a good thing. If HiFi and the HiFi Superstars campaign is infiltrating people's minds when they're sleeping, then I can officially say at that point that Dan and I and the rest of our team are doing our jobs. So that actually makes me
Hmm.
really happy to know.
The one question too that I had on the shirts that was answered once I got it, I was
Yeah.
because it's a collaboration between yourself and Eggleston Works,
Yes.
and yeah, so that's why I was like I saw kept seeing the front of the shirts, and I was like, okay, where does the Eggleston Works come in on this? Is there like an Eggleston Works logo on the back that I'm missing? And then I did see like on the back
Yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
little logo of Victoria with Eggleston Works' logo. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where the
So the
collaboration is.
the deal with HiFi Superstars is that we have different partners that I'm partnering with, and uh, we're making different hi-fi designs for each shirt. So we're basically creating like a Justice League or Garbage Pail Kids collectors cards, if you remember
Mhm.
those. So that
I don't, but it's
okay,
okay.
well, so that people will want to have the entire set, right?
Yeah,
Um,
gotcha.
and so that each hi-fi depiction is geared toward that partnership. So they're all unique.
Hmm.
They're all signature lines, and they're all limited edition. And so it's gonna be a lot different colors, different styles. Like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Mm. So Eggleston Works is just the first in the series, but there's going to be more collaborators as
Yes.
time rolls along.
Oh
Okay,
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
very cool.
We have some. We just signed on with a really, really, really large one, and I'm not allowed. I'm so bad at keeping secrets.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm not allowed to say who, and yet I do that horrible thing where I'll say, "Oh, I have this thing, but I can't tell you what it is."
Hmm.
You know. Luckily, people have been nice about that, but I don't want to push it too far.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch more shirts coming, and there's the mug, and there's a few other things that are being released as well. So good stuff. It'll be fun.
Is it just going to stay to like kind of like shirts and mugs, or are you like going to continually expand and offer more product lines with it?
Have
Okay.
to wait and see.
Okay. I'm waiting to see like the Victoria shaped like whiskey bottle.
Well,
Like
what I can tell you is that THG, as in that Hi-Fi Girl,
mm,
we have our own coffee coming out. That I
okay.
can say. That is safe to say at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody that ordered if you're watching this and you are thinking about ordering the mug, don't order the 10-ounce mug because that mug is sad. Order the 15-ounce because that holds a respectable, chunk of beverage in there.
Mm,
The 10-ounce is just, I drink a lot of coffee and tea, so for me it's too small. But anyway,
most
just
definitely,
my
most
two
definitely.
cents, as it were.
So, talking about maybe secrets that you have, I know, I know a few live streams ago, you were
Yeah.
talking about getting into some tube gear. So I was curious,
Yes.
if you have any updates on your search
I do.
for a tube amp. Okay,
I
great.
do, I do, I do. So I was at my house in Las Vegas, I don't know, earlier this month, and I spent time at a dealer showroom. He was very nice. He's from New York, like me, so we had a lot in common. We know a lot of the same people. And I'd never met the guy before, but he kept trying to sell me Rogue audio,
Okay.
and I don't have any problem with Rogue audio. I think all I'm a person that thinks that all hi-fi components are good if they're made with quality and love and care, right? They just may not be for me, but that doesn't mean
Hmm.
that they're bad. That just means that it's not my thing. But he kept going on and on and on about Rogue, and I kept trying to explain to him that Rogue didn't really have the sound that I was looking for what I
Hmm.
wanted. And, and he kept saying to me, he would go, "Well, you're not listening the right way." And I didn't know, like I spent a good, well, he spent a good about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours with me, which was very generous of him. He didn't have
Hmm.
to do that, but he did. And there were other people in the store too. And we went through Luxman, Esoteric, a couple of others. I mean, I bounced around from tube to solid state, and I just, because I wasn't, he knew I wasn't going to make the decision that day, but it was
Hmm.
one of those things where I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. And also it was weird because he was um, showing me tube amps that were not hooked up to turntables. Like,
Hmm.
like there was no turntable in there in the setup, right? It was all streaming. And I was sort of
Hmm.
like, right. But I walked in there and I told you that when I called ahead that I'm a vinyl person and this is what I'm looking for. And you've got turntables across. I don't know why you wouldn't just, it
Hmm.
doesn't
Hook
make
them
sense
up.
to me when you
Hmm.
know that there's a customer coming, right? So that's okay. What ended up happening was I called a good friend of mine who's a systems designer, and I lamented to him and I said, hey man, what do you recommend? Because you know me, you know the type of music I like, you've been with me in the studio, what are you thinking? And he goes, yeah, there's this great tube designer. He was in California, he just moved to Florida. He's sort of an elderly gentleman, does everything by hand still.
Hmm.
All the work is just his hand, right? Maybe like an assistant. um and he says, and I'll do you one better. And I said, what's that? He goes, he'll make you a signature one in purple. And I was like, yes, yes.
Oh boy.
So at that point, what I'm trying to work out now, Victoria says hello, obviously.
Hmm.
um, what I'm trying to work out now is I have nowhere to audition it. Like there's no dealer because he's manufacturer direct, right? So
Yep.
we're working out procurement for like a remote audition where he can send one, I can try it out and then see. Because I'm also looking at changing my setup a little bit. And on top of that, there's been talk of, excuse me, not COVID. I've been unpacking studio boxes, very dusty. But there's been talk of new, as if my purple Eggleston Works Osos aren't enough. There's been talk of more Eggleston Works loudspeakers joining the family.
Oh really?
So,
Okay. Oh wow.
which literally means a couple of different things, right? At that point, it
Hmm.
means I really have to look at my system holistically, unless I'm really going to bifurcate it and um, make different systems throughout the house, or it means that I'm going to have to get rid of my entire dining room altogether. Because really, you don't have to eat at a table.
That's the extreme audiophile opinion. That's
I'm
the.
saying, like, you know, look, I came up in a time in New York City where, like, I started out in a studio apartment after I left my parents' place, and
Hmm.
I didn't eat on the table. Like, who needs a table? So, you know, I can have gear. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's all good. Or order an
Hmm.
extra rack and I can just use that. I don't know. So, in terms of a tube amp, I'm looking at this particular company um, who are now based in Florida, I guess. And
Hmm.
just, I haven't heard it yet, but from what my friend tells me, it's extremely up my alley in terms of what I'm looking for, what I want, warmth characteristics, and the fact that it needs space, but it doesn't need a ton of space.
Yeah,
And
it's not
that's,
going to be a space heater.
yeah, and that's really important because my Butcher Block rigid rack that I have is ginormous and I love it and I absolutely adore Butcher Block, but it would involve my having to reconfigure the system setup as it is now. And I think everybody under the sun now knows that my listening space is very oddly shaped and there's not a
Hmm.
ton of room. And so I have to make do with what I have. Um, so I'm optimistic that this particular tube amp maker can make it to spec in a way that makes sense for me,
Hmm.
but we'll see. I have to hear it
Yeah,
first, right? And that's the other thing.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying who it is, not because I'm prohibited from saying it, just because I haven't heard it, so I don't want to say it's great or it's not great when I don't know yet. I'm just really looking
yeah,
forward to finding out and to hearing it. So I'm excited for that.
yeah. I got a little tube exposure this weekend. I was over at Tim Schroeder's.
Yay, my buddy Tim. He's
Yeah, I was
great.
at Tim's, and
Great.
he's got all the bat stuff,
Yeah.
and he's got the Bat Rex 3 now in his
Hmm.
system,
And
and he had that.
what's he running that through? What speakers?
Uh, he had the Pega Coax
There you go.
511, which I'm doing a
Yeah.
video on.
Nice.
Um, didn't take enough B-roll. I should have taken more B-roll. That's what in my editing that I'm doing right now. I'm kind of like,
Hmm.
oh crap, and I'm kind of like splicing together some of the old, because I did one with him with the 311, and
Hmm.
311 and 511 are actually the same footprint, but the 511 just adds on an additional bass woofer and two passive radiators, and then
Right.
just extends all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm doing some stuff where I'm kind of like splicing in footage from like the 311 video, but like cropping it a little bit, so it's like you can't tell that it's a bookshelf.
You're gonna see if you can get it past somebody.
Yeah, so that's kind of my angle, and I'm like throwing in like a bunch of like I'm like stretching out the times a little bit and stuff like that. But he had well, last time we were listening to it on a Bryston system,
Uh-huh.
and then this time it's the Bat system. So
Right.
it's got the tubes, and that thing's really impressive. I mean, it's got so many tubes, and it's all these like odd tubes too.
Yeah.
Because Bat's the only one that uses it's the I think the 6C33B tube. I think they're the only designer that uses that tube. And I was trying to look it up a little bit, and like the only thing I could find was there's only one manufacturer that makes that tube,
Hmm.
and they're in Russia, and they made those tubes for Russian fighter jets and like missile systems.
Okay.
So so they're still making them, but now like not for the Russian military, but
Right.
for BAT pretty much, like BAT
They've
exclusively.
That's what you call diversifying your portfolio, I think, right?
But
That's always crazy to me when people tell me that something is military grade.
mhm,
Like, I was courted by a case company a while ago for my keyboards, and they were like, "These are made out of artillery shells. You can roll a tank over this." And I went,
mhm.
"Yeah,
But when is that going to happen?
yeah." I was sort of like, I mean, do you have an in with the USO, or what are we talking about here? Like, am I going to be attacked? Like, what's going on? They're like, no, 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 just. And it was so funny because the way they would say it, it was like they were reading from a script or something, and they were like, well, just in case, because you never know. And I was like,
Hmm.
I do know. First of all, when we travel, like, I don't carry my own gear. We have roadies. I'm usually on a plane, and the gear meets me wherever. I don't handle it till I get there. I am never going to be attacked with a Hammond organ in tow. It's just not going to happen. And
Hmm.
if you can attack me and take the Hammond organ without interference from law enforcement, I think you've earned it at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you
Hmm.
got away completely unscathed and unnoticed, all right. I should probably retract that because I realize the internet is forever. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, right?
yeah,
It's
I
like,
understand. I always think that too when I see something that's like, this is military grade, it could withstand a bullet, and it's like, well, it's making noise at the speaker, or it's a amplifier. It's like we've got, enough we got enough aluminum on the front plate of this amplifier to stop a 50 caliber Barrett like rifle,
right.
and it's like,
And I just, like, all I can think is, if somebody were to break into my house as a robber, they wouldn't want to damage my system. They'd want to steal it.
yeah.
They're not going to try to shoot at it. They're just going to try to take it out, like,
Hmm.
out the window. I don't know why they do that, but yeah.
Hmm. Unless it's like The Godfather, and then they're gonna like just like
Right.
sever the organ and like leave it
Right.
like half of it in your bed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Could you imagine waking
But
up with a severed power cord in your bed with a note that says "Don't mess with little Johnny" next to it, or something?
Mhm.
I don't know, like, some random thing.
but yeah, so I was listening to this tube amp, right? And
Uh-huh.
I have to say, like, I typically like view tube amps a little bit like how I view vinyl, because it's like you can get a very high fidelity sound, of course,
Right.
but it's like when we look at pure fidelity, if you will, or ultimate noise rejection and everything like that. Well, solid state's the way to go, right? But then I was listening to this tube amp, and I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm in trouble because I was thinking this could be something really great, or maybe I should start experimenting with tubes again or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, you're gonna make me find out how I can get like a VK80i home here, Tim. Like, we're getting a little I'm in trouble now. But that's one of the things that for me, probably the biggest video that's going to close out my YouTube is this year is probably going to be the Soper 2 review.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I thought was really great in the review for the Canto was I was legitimately shopping for an amp pairing with it for a long
Mm,
time and had tried out, 6, 7 different amplifiers at that
right,
time. And, now I've got the amplifier that I ended up on after all that whole journey.
right,
But it's like, okay, well, I'm not really, really shopping for an amplifier right now to where I'd go out and start pulling all the demos off people's shelves.
right,
But at the same time, I would like to get a few things. So not only could I maybe do a review on those, but also be like, okay, I understand this speaker a little bit more because I've been through the paces with it with a tube amp and a solid state,
right,
and maybe something that's extremely high end, maybe something that's not so extremely high end, and kind of see where the characteristics kind of come and go.
right. I think ultimately, I was just talking to Brian Mitchell at Acoustics today about this very thing. And I mean, ultimately, it comes down to what makes you happy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What gives you the listening experience that makes you go every time, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're set. So I mean, and that could be one thing. It could be multiple things, right? The problem. Well, I don't know if it's a problem, but the consideration is not making sure that you commit to one, because you don't want to come home with like 3 different amps
Mm-hmm.
and just be switching them out all the time. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
Not
Is
for me. Not for me. I don't
okay.
know. I always say I treat my system like my wife. There's only one.
Fair, fair
Although
enough. See, and I
although
look at
it's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
no, I
ahead.
was gonna say, and I look at. I mean, I kind of look at, depending on the components, obviously, but I look at it very much like my instruments. I use one for one thing, one for the other one, so everything, it's not an all-in-one workstation. Like, it's each instrument has its own purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and each component for me does that. So, but that's just because that's how I think I'm used to functioning more
Mm-hmm.
than anything.
For me,
So
I think it's just a pain to go up and and switch chords.
no,
That
oh,
that's
it
that's
is,
number one
but
for sure.
there's some serious, like, I have more B-roll footage now than I know what to do with, and if I never shoot another day of B-roll in my life, I'll be fine. So
Mm-hmm.
it serves its purpose. But I mean, also, I think it really does, like, when I switched out my Bryson 2.5B for the 3B cubed, which was like, and everybody was like, oh, it's a marginal switch, and I was like, I don't think it is, and I swapped them out. I mean, instantly I was like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, what just happened? And then, I went on to the 4, and I mean, they go all the way up to the 28, I think. Now, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a million of these, and each one has its own, I don't know how Bryson has managed to do it, but each one has its own very signature, unique characteristic to it. And it's
Okay.
wonderful. I cannot have 28 Brystons.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I can,
You
but I
you
don't have the
can, but
space, you know?
once you take out the wall in the dining room,
Yeah,
then you're good to go.
exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll start parking my car on the street and just drill a hole
There you go.
in the floor and do like what do they call those dumbwaiter things or whatever. So yeah, I mean,
Oh, the car elevator.
yeah,
Yeah.
bring up the 26. Exactly. I'm getting ideas now in my head about how to make the ultimate hi-fi system. I feel like I'm inventing like Bumblebee for hi-fi,
hmm
right? From
Transformers.
Transformers. Yeah, just and then put all these pieces together. But I don't know. We'll see.
That would definitely be awesome. You can get the shipping container, and then you can get you start retrofitting that.
You're really, I mean, the holidays are coming, and everybody's like, what do you want for, what do you want for Hanukkah? What do you want for Christmas? Because I celebrate both. And they're like,
hmm
I'm like, oh, I don't know, an air fryer, amplifier,
hmm
like, sort of the list goes like this into hi-fi world. So who knows?
hmm
Who knows?
Have you ever given a hi-fi gift before?
I have, as a matter of
Okay.
fact. I'll tell you, last year was a big year, excuse me, for hi-fi gifting for me. I gave, my son got a pair of, he calls them gaming headphones.
Hmm.
They're audiophile headphones, you know. And then I got my father, which has now been commandeered by my mother, a subscription to Qobuz, and I got him a very humble but I think really great set of sort of beginner audiophile bookshelf speakers by
Okay.
Edifier,
Nice.
because I personally love Edifier as a budget choice. I think that they're highly underrated, and people need to know more about them, like in terms of what quality they offer for somebody that's new to the journey, you know, that's new to the journey. And
Hmm.
then my best girlfriend got a suitcase record player and a pair of edifiers.
Hmm.
And then my partner got a pair of Edifier travel headphones because he is constantly losing headphones and like breaking them. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go for something that's
You
super,
need
super
that's
expensive.
you need to find the military grade headphone.
Yeah,
That's what you need to do. You need to
that's what
find the
I need
military,
exactly.
like the construct. Don't they have like the construction headphones? Like,
Yeah.
like you're jackhammering
Or
away, and
the
you got
concert ones
like
for the babies.
like
Yeah. So
everybody's working for the weekend.
exactly. So yeah, last year I kind of single-handedly kept Edifier in business, I think. And it was cool. It was cool because I was able to get gifts for people that love music but didn't know what being a hi-fi enthusiast or being an audiophile was. And they
Hmm.
love music so much that it makes sense that they're a certain degree of audiophile, right?
Hmm.
Because they were able to come back to me and say things like, wow, these speakers, I can hear this part of the song, or oh, I remember this in the concert on the live record, you know, like, and they were able to recount it to me. And so if you can recount it to me, it means you care, which means you're listening, right? Which means you're
Hmm.
thinking about sound reproduction. And so I thought that was a beautiful way to A, not break the bank, but B, give something that's quality and room to grow, you
Hmm.
know, and something fun, something that they're going to use anyway, you know, why not?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, I did a lot of hi-fi gifting last year.
Awesome. I can't
So
say I don't think I've ever given a hi-fi gift before, to be honest, because it's like I'm the only person that I really know that's kind of into this, and there's people that are like, oh, that's cool or whatever, and then I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's only $20,000, or it's only it's only the cost of a car or something like that. And my joke always was that um, I can have this because I don't watch TV and I drive a car with a quarter million miles on it. But
mm,
I showed you over the weekend, my car kind of
yeah,
exploded. So I'm slowly losing the ability to do some stuff there. But
justify. Yeah,
we'll
no,
see.
I hear ya. I
I
hear
know
ya.
that you had some car trouble earlier this year too, and
I I
but your car's
did.
still alive. Your car is still alive, to my
My car's
knowledge.
still alive, but my car, so no sooner did I get the front fixed because my car went Dukes of Hazzard
Hmm.
airborne on the freeway. Um, and I was without it for 3 weeks, and I was driving around in a Mazda, which was different. It was also an
Hmm.
SUV, right? I have a four-door sedan. So,
Okay.
but no sooner had I gotten the car back from the shop being fixed. I don't know where this happened. I don't know if it happened at Trader Joe's or somewhere else, but I got home. I pulled the groceries out, went inside. The next morning, I came downstairs to take it out to, do whatever I was doing. And the back bumper,
Hmm.
if I find this person, they're going to need military grade bulletproof aluminum around them or whatever, because this is not okay. There's now a dent and a scratch. And I don't mean like a
Oh.
scratch, I mean like a scratch.
See,
And
that was
I'm,
the good thing too about driving the quarter million mile car, because it's like you get in a parking lot, you come out there, and like all of a sudden there's like a little, someone opened their door, and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
um, just another one of those. That's all right.
yeah. No,
No value lost.
I definitely have been thinking about getting a camera
Hmm.
in the car just to like But then my problem is like, but then I turn into that lady, right? I don't want to be a Karen or whatever.
Uh,
Like, I don't want to be that person.
uh,
But I'm also like, don't scratch my car, man or lady.
yeah.
Like, don't just have a little respect, right? Have a little space. Don't do it. So yeah, I had car trouble, got it fixed, and then now have this, I don't know what you call it, war wound on the back
Hmm.
side of it. And it's
Yeah.
not like you can't buff it out. This isn't one of those things like I got
Mm,
to take it in and they're going to have to do something to it and we'll see.
mm.
So
Get it repainted. A-Liston works purple.
I found a BMW that was the same color as the Eccleston work. I mean,
Oh,
these are
really?
we Lamborghini was kind enough to help us with the paint my my Osos, and I
Hmm.
found a BMW. Somebody just driving, like a 7 Series or whatever, just driving it down the street in the same color. And I was like, that dude must have gotten the Lamborghini because that is not a color BMW offers at all.
Yeah.
And I did sort of start speeding up and accelerating to try to like
Uh-huh.
see if I could pull up and be like, hey man, want to share the paint code with me? But I thought that was a little weird. so,
Hmm.
so I didn't, but now I'm kicking myself. I would
Okay.
totally repaint my car in a heartbeat.
Yeah, when I got these, I got them in, and I think I told you this, or I put on my story or something like that. But my wife was looking at them, and she's
Uh-huh.
like, "I like the older ones better." And she's looking at these, she's like, "This is like Walmart blue or like something like that." And I was like, excuse me, this is Navarro blue. It's an Audi color. If you see a blue Audi on the road, this is the color that it
Right,
is. It
right.
is not Walmart blue. It is Audi blue. And she's like, she looks at me. She looked at me. I think she literally looked at me and said, "All right, Karen." Like, that's what she said to me.
Like, whatever, bro.
uh,
No, it's
I
true.
don't
My
know.
my partner said to me, well, why excuse me, he goes, why are you getting purple? Why purple? I mean, how are you gonna, he says the thing that no audiophile ever wants to hear. He goes, how are you ever gonna resell those?
Uh-huh.
And I just looked at him and I was like, I'll sell you sooner than I sell the speakers. What are you talking about? And and I told him, I said, look, the bottom line is they're gonna be purple.
Mm,
And he was against it. Jim fought me on it a little bit because he thought purple would be too much for the speaker, right? But
mhm.
I mean, have you met me? I don't think it's too much.
Definitely not too
So,
much.
um, but my thought is like, if these speakers were to ever be inherited by somebody else, which I don't think they will be, I think I'll be buried in them.
Hmm.
Then they'll know that they were mine. They'll know where they came from, right? Because not another one of these walks the earth at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it.
Definitely the one-on-one speaker, one-on-one tube amp coming soon, maybe. So
Yep.
hitting
Yep.
all the one-on-ones.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, everybody knows the story. Like, I only got the speakers were never supposed to be this color. They were supposed to be the same color as my keytar, which is actually like an aquamarine color.
Hmm.
But my turntable is purple because
Hmm.
they didn't make aquamarine color. They didn't have that, so they were like, "We can do purple for you," and I went, "Fine."
Hmm.
And that's now everything's purple. So if I change my turntable at some point, we're gonna have a problem. So I have to sort of, on principle, I have to hold on to the turntables. I mean, I love it, but I have to hold on to it as long as I can. So
Gotcha. I have a question in the comments here. Let's see. So Borbonitis says, speaking of cars, thought on the Macintosh and Jeep Wagoner, thinking the audiophile community will pursue higher end audio in cars.
good question. Do you wanna go first?
Um,
That's a
I
great
think there
question.
already is certainly an element about that. You have lots of high-end manufacturers that are already in, lots of high-end cars. You got uh, Bowers that is constantly advertising the fact that they're in McLaren, in BMW,
Okay.
Volvo. You have Meridian that's doing a ton of stuff. Meridian, I was watching a video today on the Rivian
Mm-hmm.
electric pickup that's got Meridian audio in it. Alfa Romeo Land Rover's got Meridian in it.
Right.
I think there's a few others. They have Meridian. Mark Levinson, of course, there's all the stuff with Lexus.
Sure.
Um, you
Burmester,
have,
right, and
yeah,
Porsche.
Burmester and Porsche and I think Mercedes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Dyne Audio certainly in that mix as well with a few cars, mostly in the European market. Some of
Yeah,
the brands I don't think they really have in the US.
right.
Focal does that the same as well. Um, and yeah, there's so many high-end brands that's in that offering. As far as, do audiophiles really opt for it? I think it's a 50-50. I think that some of it is partly budget, some of it's partly what you're, looking for. Because I feel like for me personally, my like car interest and willingness to do things in there, and
Right.
my like hi-fi interest is similar but separate.
Mm-hmm.
To where, I'm investing money in this system and this is
Right.
where I want to have the experience. Whereas the car, I don't see that as I'm going to sit in the car in silence because it's never going to be exactly the same. I'm going to be in traffic. I'm going to be somewhere where it's noisy, the engine noise, everything like that. Or, if I get the Rivian T1 or whatever it is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then that's, it's electric or whatever. But that's how I feel about it, is that the the interests can intersect in that way, and there are certainly people who are very interested in it. But for me personally, I segment the two, and it's just the car environment for me doesn't provide the environment that I'm seeking when it comes to the
Hmm.
high end audio.
Interesting. Interesting. Because for me, like I I've heard the Macintosh system in the Jeep, and it's very nice. My BMW has the Harman Kardon, just the basic whatever it comes
Mm-hmm.
with system. Because I didn't want to upgrade to the Bowers, because I've heard the Bowers in this particular model car that I have. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite. It's not horrible, right? But it's okay. And for what it would be to upgrade it, I was sort of like, nah, and there's plenty of folks that I know that do car audio, like bespoke car audio installation, that'll
Mm-hmm.
make you, like, not Frankenstein your system, but actually design you something really, really nice. And there's people that do um, all sorts of stuff like that. I think when you're looking at a complete system that's a buy-in for the car, like a modular addition,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's where you have folks that are, you're right, that are, I think, sort of maybe a little bit more on the fence. But if you're talking about a car audio person, right, they're not gonna go for the modular thing as a rule. They typically will go to their guy or their
Yep.
gal who knows what they want, do a bespoke system for the car, and just make it happen. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I was really surprised. I went to, right, it's no secret, everybody knows that I love Lamborghinis. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was specking out a Huracan Evo, and I went in there for the paint for the Osos, and I got to talking, and we were specking out the car. And now my friend Rod said, well, we have a high-end audio system in Lamborghini. And in my head, I'm thinking high-end audio. And he goes, yeah. I said, oh, really? Who do you use? And he goes, Bang& Olufsen. And I went, what?
Uh-huh.
And he said, Bang& Olufsen. And I said, well, now it's my personal mission in life to convince Lamborghini to use something else,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just stunned. And he said to me, he goes, well, but look, the people that are going to buy this car aren't in here to listen to music. And I was like, the people that are going to buy this car are here for the best of the best of the best. What are you
Mm-hmm.
doing? That's like taking them to a 3-star Michelin restaurant and then handing them A&W root beer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's a little gap there.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
I asked him what the possibilities were to do, to take a Huracan and do special car audio. He said, yeah, you can do that, but you compromise the warranty at that point. You can't take it back to
Mm.
Lamborghini if there's a problem or whatever, with the car. And so there's also the risk mitigation factor there too, isn't it? It's like, if you take it outside of whatever the car manufacturer offers you,
Yeah, there's a
you're
warranty,
losing your warranty at that point a lot.
especially on a car like Lamborghini. It's a hard bullet to bite.
Yeah, I mean, even with BMW, there are certain specifications that they're like, yeah, you can do that. We're not going to touch it though. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your choice, right? It depends on what you want to do. So, but for me, like, one of the reasons that I started considering upgrading my car system was because I want to be. This really sounds like I'm becoming an old lady. I really want to be able to hear people that I'm speaking with.
Okay.
when they
Yeah,
call
yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's terrible,
Yeah.
you know. And I have to turn the music up. Like, even though I've tuned the system, like, I still have to turn it up to an unreasonable volume for me to be able to hear things clearly. Like, it's really funky in my car. And I've taken it in to ask them, and they're like, no, no, it's done. You did it correctly. This is how it should be. And I was like, really? That's not okay if you say so. So,
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
you know, that was, that was that. So that's the car audio situation. I do hope that people will consider higher end audio in cars, because I think it's also important because of the background noise.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, what's it going to look like for electric vehicles, right? Where there is less noise
Yeah, for
in
sure.
terms of car audio at that point. So
Yeah,
lots of things to consider.
that's what I'm leaning forward towards too, because I just tell my friends and they're all like, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get something, cheap and gas or whatever. And my friends were like, you can get the Boomer engine. I was like, what? The Boomer engine? And like, yeah, well, you're not going to go electric, Tesla, something. And I'm like, I don't know, it's a lot of money or whatever. And I was looking online. I actually want a pickup truck because
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of home projects, and it actually would make it a lot easier for like transporting even some of the audio stuff. And um, I was looking for like Tesla Cybertruck, and it's like if you reserve today, the estimate is you'll get your truck in 2026.
Oh, have they pushed it up? Because I'm on the list.
Oh, you are? Well, if
I
you
am.
reserve today, because there's like 2 million reservations.
Oh,
So if you're,
I think mine is ready at the end of 23. I wasn't sure if they just push people. I don't know how that list works. I
hmm,
just put the money down and was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to
yeah,
need a
because
bigger
they give
garage.
you the estimate of like if you reserve today. So there's everyone that reserved whatever was it 3 years ago,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
when it first like hit the scene.
Yeah.
Um, if you reserve today, you're going to be like number 2 million and one in line.
Oh my
So
gosh.
to get one, they're telling you like 5 6 years.
Oh.
So I was actually looking at the Ford F-150 Lightning,
Mm-hmm.
and the default color of that car is like this exact color blue. Although Ford calls it Atlas blue,
Okay. Also
and
respectable.
it's exclusive color only for the electric F-150 from them. And
Nice.
I'm like, oh, like this might have been meant to be. And that one's actually coming out at the very beginning of next year. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait and see if I can test drive it or something like that. But we'll see. Maybe there will be some sort of upgrade to the audio system. We'll see. Who knows?
It is a lot it's a lot to think about. So you're going to be driving around in a big ass blue thing, and I'm going to be driving around in a purple thing.
Hmm.
I'm so glad that
And
neither of us live a
we can do
life of
1/4 mile
crime.
drags.
Yeah, well, as long as I'm glad that we both have honest professions, because we would be very easily identifiable on the street driving in our vehicles.
Hmm.
Well, who knows? Are you seriously thinking of getting one?
Yeah, no, I really am. I didn't put I mean, I could make a reservation if I really want to. The nice thing is too is from what I was reading, Ford only has like 166,000
Uh-huh.
reservations. So I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. And like I think Tesla makes what like 100,000 cars a quarter, something like
Yeah.
that. But
Right.
like Ford's used to making like 2 million cars a quarter, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, for Ford to pump out 250,000 pickup trucks, it's a couple months work for work, 6 weeks, who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, something will probably arrive at a dealer by me, and I can go test drive it, and we'll see what happens. But that might be the next move. We'll see. But my wife told me, she's like, if you get that, I need a Lexus. And I was like, oh man.
Fair.
I was like,
Fair.
oh.
Fair. That's fair. I
It's
mean,
just, I mean, she's got a new car. She's driving the Hello Kitty mobile or I'm driving the Hello Kitty mobile right now. I was telling Tim that
uh-huh.
that's what I've been relegated to. So, if you see a grown man driving with a decked out Hello Kitty car, it might be me.
It might be you.
It
That
might be
indicates
me.
that there might be multiples on the road at any given time.
There definitely are a lot of Hello Kitty cars on the road.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where?
all over the place. Okay, I live in the Asian capital of the Midwest. All right, let me be clear.
Okay,
Let
fair
me be
enough.
very clear. I live in the Asian capital of the Midwest. If you ever, wait, have you ever seen the Hello Kitty, like the actual Hello Kitty truck?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it
Am
comes
I gonna
around
get
every
kicked out of the Japanese club now?
no, no. So it comes around every year,
Okay.
and it goes to a bunch of cities, and it's like a U.S. tour, and they drive through,
Seriously?
and they have it. Yeah, yeah, no, I'm serious. And every time, and my wife loves Hello Kitty. I mean, it's obvious. So we go every year.
Wow.
We've gone every year for the last 6 years.
Goodness.
And every time we go, this is the only thing my wife will wake up at 5 in the morning for. Because if you're not in line by 8 o'clock, you'll be waiting in line when the truck opens for another 2 to 3 hours.
Oh
Because
goodness.
the first time we went, we were like the 10th people in line, and I was like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And by the time the truck had got there and opened up and was selling stuff around 10 a.m.,
Yeah, yeah.
the we had gotten our stuff and left, and we went to go look how far the line had gone, and they had a sign. It was like Six Flags. They had a sign at the end, and it said, "From this point, your
It
estimated
is
wait
so
time
much. Right.
is 3.5 hours."
Oh
And there
my
were still
gosh.
people that was going beyond
That's
that.
crazy.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm gonna tell you, it was not little girls. It was not little girls in line for this. This was fully grown women waiting in line for this truck. Hours in line for this truck.
Okay. I mean, cool. What was the car audio system like? Let's get to the important stuff here, Ray. Come on.
That's I, maybe next year I'll ask him like, what do you got going on in there?
You should. You totally should. Absolutely. Well, I live in the DeLorean capital. So I don't get to see, I get to see the Ghostbusters mobile and the DeLorean. That's what I get.
Mm. Yeah,
So we
my,
don't get the
we
Hello
got
Kitty mobile here. I don't
we got
think.
all the good Asian food, and we just got the Asian population. I think I don't know, and this is like the only place in the world I've ever seen where it's like 40% Asian. So like probably like here and maybe like Hawaii, and it's
Wow.
like
That is a lot of Asians.
yeah, I know, right?
I mean, we get around, it's true, we do, but that's a lot of us. Like a lot. And okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool,
it's
cool.
like that's where Expona is held. So
Right,
yeah,
right. Well, Asians love audio. Case in point,
yes,
right
exactly.
here, ladies and
What
gentlemen.
I think you said on Giles. I think it was on Giles' live stream. You said there's the Asian invasion or something like that. The Asian audio invasion.
Yeah,
They had the British music invasion, now the Asian audio invasion.
yeah. We should do it. We should officially spearhead that too. Why
Most
not?
definitely.
I don't see any other Asians owning it. Not in this
Well,
way, not in this way, right?
uh, not in the U.S. at least. The Canadian Asians like the Thomas and Jay.
Right. Yeah.
They're running the maple syrup circuit.
This is like the mafia
All
running different rackets all
right.
over North America. that's that's brilliant. I love that. That's brilliant. You're part of the maple syrup audio crime family. You're part of the turtle audio crime family. You're part of
Mhm.
the bulldog audio crime family. Like you can pinpoint them everywhere on a map.
Mhm.
It's
And
brilliant.
we got our military grade audio equipment.
That's right. They're probably in Florida. I don't know. I would imagine that's or Texas. That's where they'd be. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I don't own any of it, so not that I know of.
Hmm.
But yeah,
For sure.
such is life, man.
All right. Well, I think I got to wrap this up pretty soon
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So, and you got to get to your call, but I so appreciate you jumping on with me tonight and
My
doing this
pleasure.
fun little live thing. It's always a pleasure, supporting the hi-fi superstars
HiFi Superstars. Oh
cause.
yes, you can buy the shirt if you like the shirt. If you want to look like Ray, everybody wants to look like Ray, or if you want to look like me for whatever reason, you can go to follow me, and there's a link in my bio. It's the easiest way to do it. I'm not going to spout out my website and blah, blah, blah. But and we have other cool stuff coming for HiFi Superstars as well. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe we
most
should do
definitely.
one. We should do Bulldog and
Yeah,
Turtle.
yeah, I know.
That would be amazing.
You gotta buy some of my stickers or something now.
I would love to.
I gotta send.
Absolutely. I know you have stickers. What else? I'm trying to, well, I'll offline you
Yeah,
and
I got a bunch of stuff. I mean, I got stickers, shirts, iPad cases, stuff like that. I mean, it's through a third party, so
iPad cases.
I got all that stuff that
Nice.
that's offered, and I think there's a promo code for the holidays, so I got to throw that on my story and be like, use promo code, whatever, save 20%. There's something like that. I got to look it up.
Well, come on,
So
Black Friday's coming and Cyber Monday's coming, so
yeah, for sure.
pump up the sales.
So
That's what you gotta do.
buy some merch from both of us.
Yes.
Make
And it's good,
so
you
we
know,
can.
and you're helping the hi-fi community if you do that and you gift it to people because it's cool stuff.
Yeah, most definitely.
You're helping small business. So yeah,
Awesome. Well,
awesome.
thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Emiko, again.
Thanks,
And
Ray. Good to see you.
yeah, great to see you as always. And we'll see everyone in another live stream.
Yes, and look out for the calendar.
Oh, yes, of course. The Hot and Hi-Fi calendar coming to
2022. It'll be
coming
here
to a listening room near you. I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Ray's going to be a pinup, Giles, a whole bunch of
Oh,
us are going to
Lord.
do it. It'll be great.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Emiko. Talk to you
Talk to you
later.
later.
Bye, everyone.